Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
Yo, let's go. What's good, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jimmy the Blueprint, and I'm here with my brother B. Austin. We're going to catch you up on the happenings in the sports world from this past week. So, get ready and get into the conversation. All you have to do is this. Go right now to the JW Philly Realty chat room. I'm getting ready to open that in a second. That's blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. Or you can join us on our social media sites. Go to facebook.com/The War Room or Twitter @War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes. We're going to open up the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Before we get started, make sure that during the week when we're not live on the air, you check out archive episodes of our show on our own network. That's at warroomsports.com. And the War Room Sports mobile app, which is, you can find on both Apple and Android, doesn't matter. We're also on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio. Anyway, listen, anywhere you get podcasts, you can check out the War Room Sports Podcast Network. You know what I'm saying? What up, B? Did this heat wave from the past week hit y'all in Georgia? Or, that's just what it is in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Y'all used to that fire.
That's just what it is, man. That's just what it is, man. Shout out to Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, man. I don't know why, but just shout out to them.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why you shouting them out. Like, why are we shouting them out?
No rhyme, no reason.
Well, F can do. Anyway, listen, before we get started, man, I just want to say to the people out there, one of our shows, the Broad Street Line, is part of the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Salute to those gentlemen. They're going to have a live podcast this Sunday at Philly Podfest. It's on South Street around, 6th and 7th and South, somewhere around there. But make sure if you're in the Philly area, you go check them out. I'm actually going to be a special guest on their show. So we're going to be live and direct right there on South Street this Sunday. We're going to have a bunch of fun, probably give out some books, talk my ish, you know what I'm saying? Ladies come through.
Live and direct.
Anyway, yeah, you already know, you know what I'm saying? Salute to that brother right there, man. But listen, man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about this evening, B. Austin. It's just me and you. Dev is out, saving the world, doing community service for the organization. So it's me and you. We got to Jaden Styles this, man. There's issues with the chat room, but I'm trying to get it open right now. You know what I'm saying? So bear with me, people trying to get into the chat room. There's some technical issues, but we'll get that resolved. But in the meantime, man, we have to talk about some hot topics. And those hot topics are brought to you by MyBookie. Listen, people, let's talk about how much cash you can make sports betting at MyBookie. Sports are a 365-day thing. So if you still haven't yet, check out MyBookie. I don't know what you're waiting for, but go check it out. Lay down some cash on the biggest games in sports. Join the War Room and thousands of other online players, placing bets at mybookie.ag. You're tired of getting a run around from other services when it's time for a payout? Don't do that. Go to MyBookie. Listen, we urge you to join MyBookie. You win, they pay fast and without any hassles. You're wasting your time sports betting anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after the game has started. I know that sounds crazy, but these are super facts. Listen, join now in MyBookie and match your first deposit up to $1,000. Just use the promo code WARROOM. That's WARROOM. And if you use that promo code, you can activate this offer, to get the matching deposit, that is. So visit mybookie.ag today, play, win, and get paid. That's the bottom line, because Jimmy said so. Be awesome. You want to give these guys a shout out. Let's start the show with that. Then let's talk about Pac-Man. He laid the hands of God on Keith Thurman. After Thurman, talked all kinds of trash, beat the brakes off of him. You know what I'm saying? He looked like roided up Manny. Because the Manny we saw, last several fights, he looked like this. But he looked like he was back to being roided up Manny. But he put them hands on that young man. I don't know if you saw it. And if you didn't see it, did you see the highlights of it or the aftermath of it? Or what are your thoughts on Pac-Man looking like he's about 10 years younger?
Pac-Man turned 40 into the new 25. He shaved 15 off on that Rumble. I'm going to go in another direction that our listening base is probably not used to. I'm going to shock the ish out of you. Yo, is the man that I hate in boxing the most, possibly who I hate and like the most, no, not more than McNabb, is Floyd really that good? You know where I'm going with it. Is Floyd really that good?
Because of the way he handled Manny?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, here's the thing, right? We all know that,
I know matchup make fights, but Manny looked like a completely different human being.
We're all fans of the great art of pugilism, but I mean, no one has ever denied Floyd's ability. It's all the other stuff that pisses people off about Floyd. No one has ever really denied his ability or his hard work, for that matter. Like, we've seen that he's one of the hardest working athletes there is. It's all the extracurricular. Because here's the thing: if Floyd didn't act the way Floyd does, like out of the ring, and he carried himself different, I think that you would have a different respect for him. It's the other stuff that makes you kind of like, not discredit, but look different upon his skill set. But at the end of the day, when it comes to defensive fighters, there's not too many that can hold the candle to the gentleman. And Pac-Man is too fast for him, couldn't hit him. And he wasn't the only one.
Some of that,
long list of guys that
is definitely true. But let me call this into focus. One of the things that really bothers me about Floyd is the ducking. Is going out of his way to set up fights where there is no challenge or minimizing the challenge. For me, that is anti-competitive greatness. I haven't used my slogan and my catchphrase in a while, but I'm all about competitive greatness. You're supposed to pick the biggest, the toughest, the best, and whoop his ass. My man Floyd will fight you for $400 million.
Here's the thing, though. You can say that, but there's always a different perspective when you look in. Because there's certain guys on his resume that are considered some of the all-time greats, and some will say, well, look when he fought. He fought them either they're too young or too old. You can't help fight
Manny is
too young. You don't know how someone will turn out. Huh?
Manny is one of those all-time greats, and context has to be put to it, because if you just look at his name, you'll be like, Floyd, Manny was 104, and now he's 107, and he looks younger than ever, but...
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. How are we to say that he should have fought him earlier when he got $500 million to fight him? That, to me, that seemed like he timed it perfect. You know what I mean? Like, you can say, okay. You know what I mean? Like, he's also a businessman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, wait, hold on. You said $500 million, and I laughed like you were exaggerating. Then I stopped and thought, that's not an exaggerated number.
So, you know what I mean? Like, so it's easy to say, he should have fought him then. I mean, I tell that to his accountant. Because he waited to the point where the money got to where it got to. But at the end of the day, there's other guys he fought that he put pause on. I mean, but even still, the thing about him is his defensive prowess. So he's a hard target. Like, it's not like he's out there knocking people out. You know what I'm saying? He's a defensive fighter, counterpuncher, but he's a specialist. He's a pugilist specialist, as Lennox Lewis would say. He is a pugilist specialist. But it's funny because now these guys are so tied in terms of their names that Pac-Man had his day in the sun, looking like he went back to the old Pac-Man, beat up Thurman. He's in the spotlight, and all anybody is talking about is Floyd, including us. Which shows you just how dominant he was in his sport, considering he's not the one who fought. But most of our conversation is about him. So I guess my question to you is, would you be interested in another fight between Pac-Man and the good brother Floyd?
I don't know. I want to say no so bad. Like every fiber in me wants to say no, but probably I probably will watch.
Because I want to say no, but I'm still going to watch. Exactly. I'm going to say no, but I'm
going to watch.
And that's how you know. That,
I want because I'm rooting for Pac-Man. I want Pac-Man to win.
Yeah, we on the same page. King. Like I really feel like I don't want to see this fight, but I'll watch it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it is what it is, man. Listen, man, let's get to this thing of ours, the NBA, just for a quick second, because now the joy of my world. My fault. Zion just signed the most lucrative rookie shoe deal ever with the Jordan brand, and I don't know, like, all right, so we know that what the Jordans mean to the culture. We know what Jordans are. But in terms of Jordan athletes, and I know they were talking about this in our group chat. I didn't see the whole conversation. I'm like, who has really popped with brand Jordan? Now, you know, maybe that's why they're doing this. But who has brand Jordan really popped with? And what can they do for Zion? Can Zion sell shoes?
That's a great question.
Historically speaking, big men haven't really sold sneaks. Now, some would say LeBron's a big guy, but it's different. Like, LeBron's a wing player. And I guess Zion could be considered a wing player too, but the game is different.
Out on the wing. Everybody's a wing player. Everybody's a wing player.
Good point. So my question is, what do you think, though? What do you think about? Do you think it's a good move for Brand Jordan?
Sell shoes, Jimmy. Yo, he's our size, and he can jump up onto the rim, like he can put his feet on the rim. He got to sell shoes.
This is true.
Yo, how you 470 pounds with a 47-inch vertical? Like, what kind of sense did that make? Why God do that?
This is true. Now, here's my question, though, right? My question to you is, from the Zion standpoint, would you have taken the deal with Brand Jordan, or have you went somewhere else?
Me, personally, even though I'll never get caught dead in these shoes for free, I don't want the Under Armour.
Okay.
But that's just me, because, you know, that's just how I see things. Huh?
What's your logic in saying that? Like, why Under Armour? If
it's only two.
You're highly touted.
It would only be two of us over there.
Okay. All right.
I would have my own land. I would make them give me stock. I would make them carry me around on a chariot. When I stepped off the chariot, I would have rose petals thrown at my feet. I would have bathers. Like, you go to Under Armour and get whatever you want. Jordan, I like to play for Jordan strategically because they always have B-level stars. Melo is probably the closest to an A-level star.
I'm glad you said that. I was going to bring that up, and I was going to ask you, do you think that Mike does that strategically? Like, Mike don't want nobody to even be in the same hemisphere as him? Is that his ego still?
I'm gonna go with two reasons, and because I know Mike as well as I do, and he's the greatest of all time, I would say absolutely yes. But I also think that the guys that are in that stratosphere, they don't want to be a Jordan brand athlete. Guys go to Jordan when they know, listen, I know I'm never in the conversation for the best of all time or even best in the league. I'm just an all-star or maybe once in a while all-star. Yo, give me some of them shoes. That's what they do.
I ain't gonna hold you.
The top guy is not going to be. Jordan still on the same plane with guys that play today.
That's why, to me, if it's me, I'm going with Adidas, right? And, full disclosure, I'm an Adidas shareholder. It has nothing to do with my opinion. But here's why I say that. I say that because, Mike is synonymous with Nike. Now, there's a lot of athletes. Some will say Tiger Woods. And there's a bunch of athletes you can say that are synonymous with Nike. But when as someone who, is a part of this thing of ours, I think about Mike, right? And then I think about, it's shocking. That's why I thought Kobe went the other way, although his Adidas were absolutely dreadful to look at. But LeBron going to Nike. So I was like, I would try to take another brand, which, and try to elevate that and be the face of that. When you think Adidas basketball, who do you think of? Huh?
That's why I said Under Armour. And just to buttress your point about Kobe's first Adidas shoe, that was Kobe's biggest mistake in life. Bars.
I don't know. I think Colorado might be up there. But
No, bars. That was my point.
Yo, peep this though. So, for Adidas to be as big a company as it is globally, who is the face of Adidas basketball? Someone now would say James Harden. First person I think of probably is T-Mac. But for them to be as big a brand as they are, they really don't have that Michael Jordan per se.
They don't need him. They got Messi.
I get that. I said Adidas basketball. I know there's other sports and they get busy in other sports. But I'm just saying in general, I would, Under Armour has their Steph, and he's going to be the face of that. But I would go to Adidas. I really would. I mean, AI. I guess AI maybe. Yeah, Bubba Chuck. Bubba Chuck was Reebok though. My bad. He was Reebok. Now owned by Adidas. Yeah, him and Shaq was Reebok. But Reebok is now owned by Adidas. But he definitely was Reebok. But he's the face of Reebok. The Reebok joint. You know what I'm saying? So that's personally what I would do. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. Another thing I want to ask you about is this, right? So the whole thing with Kawhi went to the Clippers. Everybody knows the story. PG-13, yada, yada, yada. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. But there were people that were criticizing Magic, saying Magic is to blame for Kawhi not coming to the Lakers. What do you think about that?
I think it's excessive to the criticism I'm seeing is a little excessive, but I do believe some of what Magic said contributed. It may have contributed.
Yeah.
Magic aired the dirty one.
Here's how I feel about this. I don't think it had anything at all to do with it. I think his plan was to go to the Clippers all along. People forget that's the whole talk all season was about him going to the Clippers. Then just because when the time came and people said that LA was a front runner, now it turns out nobody knew what they were talking about. People try to say that, hey, well, he ruined it. His plan was to go to the Clippers since last year. When he left San Antonio, everybody had him pegged to go to the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden, I don't know. My thing is, if he was going to Lakers, he was going to Lakers. But I think that his whole plan all along was to get someone to play with him and to go to the Clippers.
I lean towards that. I lean towards that more than I do the Magic theory. My only issue, I think Magic messed up. If we look at what Magic said and did in a vacuum, it was stupid. I don't think it weighed into if Kawhi were looking at the Lakers seriously, I think Magic would have effed it up. But you're probably right. I think Kawhi is very calculated. I think that Kawhi didn't want to be a LeBron underling. I think he never had designs on that. So I think you're probably right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I don't think it really had anything to do with it per se. It's just easy to do that. We live in times where somebody has to be blamed. Sometimes things just can't be what they are. Somebody has to get blamed in the Twitterverse. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it has to be. So somebody has to take the blame for this instead of things just being what they are. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. Yo, so we got some comments here. Comment for you, B. Austin. And shout out to Casey Mack. I'm reading your comment, good brother. It says, if you were Manny and you had no rules to follow going into that fight, wouldn't you roid up? I'm going to see asking both of that's a question because I did say look roid up. Casey Mack, I'm on the record as saying let people do what they want to do. They want to sacrifice their body to entertain. That's on them. You know
we don't care about Roy over here.
And also, Tobias has a point he wants to make, which is that if not for Derrick Rose getting injured, he was poised to be the face of Adidas. So, you know, that's a good point because they definitely did have a major campaign behind them.
Great point. That is absolutely factual. You're right. It was supposed to be Derrick, I can't talk, Millie Mumble Mouth Rose, because that is definitely who they bet on. They still paying me. They still paying me now. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yo, they picked a superstar to represent them that talk like this. That's how Derrick Rose talk.
No Derrick Rose slander, man. Listen, I don't know if you're into the whole World Cup Team USA, you know, hoops joint, but nobody wants to play, man. What happened? What happened to international hoops, man? Nobody wants to play. Kevin Love pulled his name. Yo, Cat's now like, yo, I want to focus on my season.
Yo, you know it's bad when Tobias Harris turns you down. Because who is Tobias Harris to turn anything down?
Yo, Tobias Harris
was like, no, I'm good. I know. He was like, no, I'm cool. I got that bread.
Yo, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Curry, Kawhi, Westbrook, Clay, Draymond, DeMarcus, Blake Griffin, Paul George, Kyrie Irving, they all declined. Yo, even Zion, he ain't played a real game yet, so he cool too.
He said, I'm good. Yo, they gonna go over there with big three play.
They're gonna get cooked. I mean, but here's the problem. The problem is the tournament is too close to the start of the season, right? So the World Cup final is like September 15th, and it's in Beijing. And, you know, NBA training camp starts, like, soon after that. So, like, you know. And the only thing I think of when I think of that World Cup, I think of Paul George's injury. So a lot of cats are like, yo, I'm cool. And to be honest, in my Tobias voice, let's be honest here. What does it really mean? What's the World Cup really mean anyway? Like, the U.S. doesn't even have to qualify. Like, they don't have to win this to qualify for the Olympics. So what's the point?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they cool. They like, we cool. Let somebody else
All
have
you
a
gotta
run.
do is be like, I think the rule is you got to be, like, one of the top 2 finishers in the tournament out of, like, there's only 7 teams. So, like, they're going to lose. They could send, like, I don't know. I shouldn't say it. Let me slow down real quick because the whole world is getting better at hoops. They might get their dumb ass cooked over there. Let me be quiet. You know
Yo, they need to
send. Even if they didn't make it, even Spencer what?
Spencer Dinwiddie, Ingram, Enes Kanter, give him American citizenship, and
you better say where he at.
And Joe. Yo, they might root him. He go over there.
Yeah, when he cooking, you know, I call him Spencer Dumlitty. But anyway, the other thing is this though. Even if they didn't qualify under these rules, there's another way for them to get in, which is to there's a FIBA tournament, right? That happens later on. So there's 4 Olympic spots that come from that tournament, so they can go back later on, tool up, and just get in. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but I just found it interesting that cats now are just like, look, even the B and C list cats is like because first off, everybody's making so much money now.
It's out of control, dude.
Cats is wealthy in the NBA, man. Anybody got time for that?
Niggas get a contract every day, B.
Yeah, anybody got time for that? I got a quote for you. Quote of the week, right? So we got to give our quote of the week. And our quote of the week is this. I felt disrespected. Like, after everything I've done for them, this is me being honest, this team has not been good for the last 6 years. I felt like I was the main reason at keeping that brand alive. They were still getting primetime games, still, as a 5-11 team. Why? Because people want to see the show. You want to see me play. That's Odell Beckham talking about the New York Football Giants and then trading him. What's your thoughts on that, beloved?
Yo, your man Odell Beckham his ego is officially and unofficially out of control. Like, I never seen nothing like dude.
I mean,
I never seen.
Usually those are the kind of guys you like. You're not messing with the ball. Like usually those are the kind of guys you like.
I like guys that deliver. Listen, I think he's a monstrous talent. He's a monstrous talent. I think he is probably top 3, top 4 receiver. But I can tell, my opinion, that he doesn't necessarily love the game, and he loves what the game can do for him. He loves what it does for him, and it may not be a conscious decision in this day and age, because so much is thrown at these guys. Like 20 years ago, you could differentiate between the guys that were here for the passion and the guys that were there to get a check. In this day and age, there's so much thrown. Like, how do you not love, if you're Tobias Harris as an example, getting $180 million? And then football is far behind in terms of salaries, but they still getting quite a bit of guap there. And a guy like Odell gets so much money and has been handed so much since LSU. I think he finds it hard to differentiate between having that ego based inside the lines and playing and who he is off the field and outside the field. So ultimately, Jimmy, I question his love and passion for the game. I think he just lives for the attention.
I mean, he's clearly one of the best to do it in his current state. But the funny thing is, listen, man, I feel like there's a lot more athletes, like a lot more like that. Like, we like to pretend at times with all these cats that everybody cares about competing, and it's the love of the game. And man, these dudes like the fact of almost, I would say a majority of them like the fact of what it can do for them. Then you have some that just want to be great at whatever it is they do. But I think it's like that. I think that's a microcosm of life itself, right? You go to any for the cats out there that work in an office, you go to any office. I don't care what you do. You could sell paper cups, or you could sell Myras. Doesn't matter what you do. You have some people that are into whatever their job is, and want to be the best at it. And you have some that, you know, they there for the check. So it's funny when we talk about athletes, we have this expectation. When some of y'all work at like offices right now where half of y'all don't care, I guarantee you most people listening to our show right now don't really care about what happens at work for real, but they like that check. You dig? So I think it's no different.
So let me ask you this. I think I know the answer, but I'll ask. I agree with what you're saying, but not necessarily well, let me ask it this way. That attitude, can you have that attitude and still be an all-time great?
If you have that attitude and be an all-time great, that means that you were just naturally born gifted, right? Because we all know that hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard, and that translates into sports as well as your regular everyday life. Let's just say you're selling cars, right? And some people are naturally gifted at salesperson, but some people just work their tail off. That sounded real old, work their tail off. Some people just go extremely hard. They can become great. You know, put their 10,000 hours in. They can 10x their life. Yep, I just referenced 2 books right there for those that caught on that. But anyway, I can't read anyway. But fact of the matter is, yeah, you can. but that means that you were just naturally. Some people are naturally born like with gifts, but they don't even maximize it, right? So you could be someone that's naturally born with gifts, still be an all-time great, but that means that you probably didn't even maximize your talent. I've heard you say that about one Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal. None of us can deny that Shaq's an all-time great, but some of us will say that Shaq didn't maximize his talent. I mean, Shaq will say that. Shaq will tell you that he didn't work hard enough all the time. But Shaq was one of the top 3 dudes in terms of having a great life, though.
I don't like to use. There's 2 guys I'm not going to use in this conversation. I'm not going to use MJ, and I'm not going to use Kobe, because MJ is literally, he has a mental sickness with his level of competitiveness, and Kobe, I think Kobe is autistic when it comes to winning and greatness and he wants to be great so bad. The level of work that these guys put in is inhuman and sick. So they're bad examples. But let's take a guy like a Steven Jackson or a guy like Isaiah Thomas or Joe Dumars here. These are guys that put in copious amounts of work to be great.
Yes.
I don't think it was just about the benefits of being a ball player or the benefits of being paid or the benefits of fame. Like, I think these dudes were really here to compete. AI, come on, man. AI would have played basketball for chips, a nickel bag, chocolate
right?
Dutchess.
Because he's a. All right, let's get into that. Let's break that down a little bit further, right? So, I agree with you. He's a hooper. Sometimes people are just hoopers, right? They may not be competitive in anything else in life, but hoopers know hoopers, right? But at the same time, some will say that he didn't maximize his talent. He didn't take care of his body the right way. He didn't go to practice.
But what we're
so some will say that
isn't maximizing talent, though. You're right. You're absolutely right. He didn't. But the passion for the game was definitely there, and he never cheated the game in between the lines. I feel like Odell's mental isn't always there in between the lines.
I don't know about that. I watch him play, and I can't see that he's cheating the game in between the lines. I see all the other.
He dropped a lot of passes.
When his game days, I mean, yeah, but he dropped a lot of passes at LSU. I think that's part of who he is. I think he dropped. I mean, T.O. can't catch, but he is what he is. I think he dropped a lot of passes. My point is, I don't think that he's cheating the game in the way that you're saying. But my thing is it just about what you do in between the lines? You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you really dedicating your life to the game and you really care at that level, you do all the other stuff. I remember as a kid, because I was so into this thing of ours that I used to buy the magazines. I used to hang the posters on the wall. I used to buy VHS tapes. I know some people listening, some of our younger fans are like, what the hell is a VHS tape? When they came out with NBA, I forgot the name of it, NBA Superstar tapes and all that kind of stuff. And I remember Ahmad Rashad had his little TV show, and they did an expose on Michael Jordan back then. This is before he was like, the Michael Jordan that we know today. And they were talking about, what's his guy's name, Tim Grover, his trainer.
Yeah.
And I remember, Mike, paying and getting research done and starting to lift weights. And Cat thought he was crazy because before Mike, people thought that, ball players don't lift weights. It messes your game up. But the fact of the matter is Mike was putting in a copious amounts of work off the court, right? And this may sound crazy to some, but I don't think that Michael Jordan was the most naturally talented player, but he is who he is because of all that other stuff. And my point in saying that is when you talk about someone going 100%, it's more than just what they do on the court or in between the lines. It's a lot more than that. Now,
it is.
Bring it back.
But in that, I'm also weighing in your love of the game and your desire to compete, and because you're right, and AI is a perfect example. My man, during exit interviews, my man had his bag already packed and had his bag ready to open and put in the Dutch Master, and my man smoked the entire summer away and didn't do anything. And we all know how we know this, but I feel like from a competitive standpoint, dude wanted to A, win, B, be the best, even without necessarily putting in the summertime work, right? I feel like
but if you really want those things, then you got to do what it takes to be that. You can't just say it.
Odell.
Say, I'm
Odell puts the work in.
On the court.
Odell puts the work in off the field. He puts the work in. Like his workout ethic is legendary. Like, dude, really, he not a drinker, he's not a smoker. Like, he puts the work in. But between the lines, him and Antonio Brown are similar to me. They don't care about winning or the team as much as they care about their individual stardom and what that individual stardom can bring to them.
I agree to a certain extent, but I don't think it comes off in their play. It comes off in their tantrums because they don't get their numbers. But I don't think that any of them have short changes in terms of their effort. Or I don't think they lack effort when they're on the field, right? And I also think those are two of the hardest working dudes because, the reason I know that because Antonio Brown records all his workouts for Christ's sake. Like, the boy's a social media star. But my point is, he works hard. Like you said, Odell works hard. But my thing is, if you really have that drive to be the best, to be competitive, you do all the other stuff, man. In the words of the great E40, man, practice makes paper, man. Like, you gotta put that practice in. You can't just be, you know what I mean? Like, that's the difference between being a Michael Jordan and say an AI. AI is the greatest ever, and I will never claim the AI. So I'm gonna stop what I'm getting ready to say, but Jordan is Jordan for a reason. Let's just put it that way.
Don't do it.
Who do you think has more? Now, answer this question for me. Who do you think has more natural talent, Allen Iverson or Michael Jordan?
We would have to go to Allen Iverson for the answer to that question.
Like just natural talent.
Natural talent. That's a tough one, man. Probably AI.
Yeah.
AI.
And that's what I'm saying. But that's the difference.
I would argue with you in terms of Jordan's athleticism though. I know the whole weight room thing, and you're definitely right. He took that. Him and Tim Grover took that to another level. But coming in prior to Jordan hitting the weights, my man set the record for the highest vertical jump, and that record still stands at 48. You're not a freakish athlete. If you do that, you definitely a freakish athlete. Like, I don't know what I was about to say. Is my CTE kicking in?
Yeah, pretty much.
His leaping.
Real quick though,
I ain't punching.
And now, shout out to Scotty and now who's in our chat room, and Scotty wanted to point out, say that AB is supremely talented. When he gets his stats, the Steelers win. Now the Raiders will. Fact of the matter is, Skyview, I'm not going to debate you with that because, you're a Raiders fan, so obviously you're going to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even that I disagree with you. It's just the fact that you're going to say that because he's a Raider. So we're not even going to go back and forth with that, man. We got some calls on the line we got to get to. But before we do, I want to talk about this stat of the week. And this stat of the week actually comes from brother Phil Maddox, who pointed this out the other day. And when he pointed it out, I didn't even believe it and looked it up, and I was like, wow. A lot of times baseball players, football players, basketball players, they retire or go away. We forget about them. We don't recognize their greatness. And there's some guys, like this guy I'm getting ready to talk about. Some will say he gets his just due. I don't think he really does in terms of how great he was, but that's one Mariano Rivera. I don't even know what we were talking about, but Phil pointed out that more people have walked on the moon than have earned runs on Mariano Rivera in his entire playoff career.
Yo, I'm gonna prove to y'all that Mariano is great. Of all the members of this illustrious and beautiful family called War Room Sports, I am by far the guy that knows the least about baseball. I don't watch it. I don't comment. Only thing I know is Manny, Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds, and Bryce Harper, and Mike Trout. Outside of that, I really don't know nothing about nothing. But when you're into sports, game recognized game, greatness is recognized. I watched Mariano pitch, and I knew I was watching something special. I swear to God, I don't know the first thing about baseball. I knew the energy in the field, the batter's body language towards it. Like when that man got on the mound, and he literally only threw like 10 or 12 pitches a game, but them Jones was unhittable for an inning and a half. Like I knew dude was special. Yeah, he's a special guy. He was a special guy.
It's crazy, right? Because I mean, at this point, my life, like, let's be very transparent. I don't care about baseball. Like, I have a favorite team I want them to win, but I really don't care about baseball. Like, baseball is completely boring to me. There's too many other great things on TV for me to care about baseball. But at the end of the day, that stat is nothing such, man. Listen, there have been 12 people that have walked on the moon. My man has given up 11 earned runs, and that's in 96 appearances in the playoffs over a 19-year period.
Yo, that's insane.
That is absolutely insane. So, salute to that, brother. That's an amazing stat. The call is waiting to get on. We're going to let you on in a second. But before we do, I have to let everybody know, check out our website at www.warroomsports.com. I hate saying www. That sounds so trash and whack. So, warroomsports.com. Check out our website. While you're there, take your time and look around. Click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about our company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. Or join our network. Maybe you have a show, a podcast you want to put out. Let us know. Hit us up. You know what I'm saying? Podcast deals are available. For general inquiries, email us, info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All Fair Sports and War blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to follow us on all social media platforms. Subscribe to our iTunes podcast or to watch our webcast. You can do that at War Room Sports TV. Here's the thing, right? One thing I want people to remember from what I'm saying here is there is a hub, which is warroomsports.com. You can pretty much find everything that we do there. Everything. War Room Sports TV is like, our platform for our, video content. But again, our podcast is found on iTunes and any other place that you find podcasts on. You can also download our free War Room Sports mobile app. That's Android and iOS. You can get everything right there as well. If you don't get it, right at our hub of warroomsports.com, which is also mobile friendly, by the way. You can join us now in the JW Philly Realty chat room. You can do that by going to blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you can sign in through your Facebook or Twitter accounts. And while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, the chat room, everywhere. The Game Time group on the GroupMe app during the show. To call in and speak with us, dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline. The number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted if you're already listening from your phone. Just press 1 if you want to talk. Listen, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to Niall and Scotty for always holding it down. Niall says that it's much better when you actually go to a game. I can't watch it on TV. Listen, I agree 17,000% with you. Baseball, to me, is actually the absolute best sport live. As much as I love hoops, and hoops is like my favorite sport, and probably when it comes to my love of sports, is the last one I'm holding on to is basketball. I still enjoy a baseball game live much better than a basketball game. It's talked about in Sports the Book. But baseball live is just an amazing thing. Football, as great as a game as football is, football live is trash to me. I know some people would disagree with that because they fall into the whole thing of,
yeah, I think you tripping.
The whole energy you get with being with your fan base is different in football because it's damn near a fight. But at the same time, football is trash to me. When you watch, I've been to several football games. When you watch football on TV, you see so much more because there's so many moving pieces with football, right? There's so many moving pieces that you miss a lot of the nuances of the game. Like, I can't watch a DB's footwork and stuff when I'm trying to keep track of where the pigskin is. There's just so much you miss watching football live. And I think maybe that's why baseball is the best sport live, because you can kind of catch everything because it's slowed down, which is probably also why it's trash on TV. You know, for the same reason that it's amazing live, it's trash on TV. So there's that. But I agree with you now. I definitely agree with you. Oh, okay. So football live is trash truck juice. Listen, Scotty, that's what I'm saying, man. So you agree with me, man. Anyway, man, we got some calls that have been holding on for a minute. We definitely got to get them on. I think this is Tobias right here. Roll damn Tide. You know, War Room.
Roll Tide. I'm glad you done bloviating there, Jimmy. I was like, goodness, man. You know.
Let me get my
shout out to Stephen A.
Off, man.
Shout out to Stephen A. for reading out the dictionary. We learn new words. But, you know, first things first, y'all talk about football. I'm actually going to take the trip to Seattle and watch the Bucs lose at Seattle this year. Never been. It's heard, it's a good experience, you know. Yeah, I know. We're going to lose again, I know. But anyway, you know, y'all talk about the dude skipping out on the World Cup. He was right close to the season. But it got me thinking about this load management. I noticed none of these cats load managed the All-Star game, though. That's all I got to say about that one. I get to see someone load manage that one, talking about he get some rest, if you catch my drift. But I don't think Kawhi, anybody, he always want to go to the Clippers. And like, I know, like, the commissioner, Steve Kerr, a novel concept, you don't have to trade them. If Paul George on the contract for 3 or 4 more years, guess what? You don't have to trade him. You can tell him tough. You're under contract. And until you get a deal you like, it just so happened Oklahoma City got a deal they couldn't turn down. But if Oklahoma City was only going to get, you know, Boban or whoever the hell played for the Clippers then still, you know, they would have said no, and Paul George would have been up a creek about a paddle, and Kawhi would be like, where do I go next? So I think people kind of overreacting to some of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the whole load management thing, and I saw you ask the question, what's ruining the game more, like load management or, you know, or the other, all the other nonsense going on. And I think that's a valid question, though. I think it's a valid question. But we gotta blame Popovich, don't we?
Yeah, and you know my thing about the whole load management thing, it's like, bruh, let's say the Lakers, for example, right? All right, one, I think, let's just play. You don't have to play the whole 35 minutes or whatever. Play 20. But the players don't want to do that because they don't want to mess up their stats. Let's just be honest about that. But these cats are sitting out national TV primetime games. I'm like, bruh, you know, if it's a home game against the Memphis Grizzlies, I can give you that. But if you're healthy,
this is where it gets to be interesting to me, right? Because the coaches, GMs, their objective is to try to win, right? To try to win championships. And a lot of this is Michael Jordan's fault. I got a whole theory behind that. I don't feel like breaking it all the way down, but after Michael Jordan, everything became about how many chips you got, so it kind of changed the argument. A lot of things didn't matter no more if you weren't winning championships. So now most coaches and GMs, they're hired to be fired. They're in a hot seat. They have to do everything they can to win. So if you're playing chess and you feel like, hey, if I sit with this guy this amount of times, he'll be more fresh for the playoffs, I understand that. But then the business comes in. If you have a product that you're selling, and I want to see LeBron when they come to town to play like Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he's sitting out load management. That's a problem. So it's kind of like two things colliding right now. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, here's the problem. Yeah, here's the problem also. Maybe just play less minutes, but the players got to be like, hey, you can play less minutes. Because like in football, for example, it's a blowout. They take you out or whatever. You know, they reduce your snaps or whatever in case injury, rest, and all that good stuff. I just think, like, let's just be honest here, guys. I got to say that again. Look at Golden State, for example. Whitlock called that crowd gentrified because you can't afford the average fan can't afford playoff tickets anyway in most of these games. So you might want to have a good product that's saying that, hey, cause most fans can only afford one or two games a year. The way tickets cost nowadays, parking, concessions, things of that sort. And I'm looking as a single man. I'm not married or anything. I got somebody, but I ain't paying for her. She's strong and independent. She can do for her damn self. But anyway, but
is that something new? Tobias, we never heard you talk about it. Let me find out you got something hiding, man. Let me find out you.
Yeah, I had something for a couple years, man.
You picked some. You got some on Kyrie's boat.
Nah. Hey, she dark skinned, man. I gotta post a picture. I'll post a picture there for y'all later, for proof. But she doesn't approve of Kyrie's boat, if you know what I mean. But it is I just think maybe those players could sacrifice some game stats, their per average stats, to say, hey, we'll give you 20 minutes at least. Because, a fan could live with, hey, I paid for a ticket. I paid for Warrior tickets years ago in Phoenix, and Steph Curry was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And you can live with that as a fan. Hey, he got hurt. He's out. Okay, you can live with that. But when you're perfectly healthy and you're just chilling, that's the problem. How do you think the rest of it is in December?
It's just funny. It seems so much worse since they actually introduced the actual phrase of load management. That just sounds crazy. It sounds absolutely
like
crazy.
You're trying to take a dump. Yeah, but before I go, can I touch on a football thing real quick? I've been watching it. I've been paying attention to this stuff and everything, and it's like, y'all talking about Odell. He got famous off a catch in a game they got blown out in. So he got famous off not winning. So he sees that he's still a pretty young guy.
The catch was fire, though. You got to give him credit for that catch. I said that catch was fire.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these days, what does it actually mean? Like, things go viral. Like, so that was like a social media moment when he made that catch. I remember it going all over the place on each social media site. And, I mean, the guy's a good player, but, sometimes when they put a camera in front of these guys,
how did they disrespect you when they made you the highest paid receiver in the league at the time? How did they disrespect they made you the highest paid receiver at the time?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point, but I guess he felt disrespected about him getting traded. I don't know. But,
bruh,
it is what it is.
It could be worse.
I don't
he could have been traded to the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't question him giving his full effort on the field, though. That's what I don't question.
I can't question that. Now, we seen Deshaun Jackson. That's not giving full effort on the field. that's not full effort. But
great point.
But and then like the team he's going to now, with all these crazy expectations, there's no way in hell they're gonna meet these expectations. These pundits got Baker Mayfield top 10. They expected Jimmy G to lead the 49ers to the playoffs, and the dude never played past the trade deadline. And it's like,
yo, Tobias, I don't know what quarterback you like. You be out here pooping on all these quarterbacks, man. You've been pooping on Baker Mayfield. Not saying that you're wrong, but you've been pooping on him, Montgomery, and you've been giving Cam Newton the business. Like, I don't know what.
Let me ask you a question about Cam.
But,
you know who I think is good though? I always like Mahomes. That's why I thought Cliff Kingsbury should not gotten that Cardinal job, because the way this dude shot in the NFL, you couldn't do that in college. With that talent, maybe he shouldn't gotten that job. I always liked Mahomes. I always liked Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I always thought Drew Brees was, probably cut division rival. I always thought he just capped the check down.
You're just going to pick best players in the league, though. But go ahead, though.
No, I always liked him. I like Deshaun Watson. I think he's a good player. The offensive line's trash.
Okay.
But I think he's a good player. But my thing is that the fact that people crown these young cats and not letting them get the ups and downs of an NFL, like NFL careers. And then if Baker has a sophomore slump, they're going to trash Baker. And it's like, bruh, can we let the guy grow first? Or like Jimmy G. Can we let him go through a full season first?
That's the point. The point is to be the first person to call something, and if you're wrong, you use the same platform to trash that guy. Like, it's about clicks, hits, and attention. So that's how you get attention. Yeah. I'm going to crown this guy. I'm going to say something that's controversial and crown. It's the hot take culture.
Yeah, because, see, the thing is, I always believe the NFL is not a what have you done for me lately. It is a reputation league. Because people get mad when I go on Cam. I'm like, look, the dude wasn't that great before the MVP season, and he hasn't been that great since. 4 years after that, and people say, well, can he get back to that form? Well, damn it, in 4 years, you're that guy. But if they like you, they will say, oh, man, he was hurt.
But the
run game wasn't as good.
There's context to that, too. There's context to that, too, right? So I think his MVP season, he was pretty good, if you ask me personally.
Oh, he was great. Oh, he was third time that year.
I thought he was turning the corner in his MVP season. Now, with that being said, when you look at what he has to play with over these last couple of years, I mean, who's he throwing to?
See, here's the thing about I think what people miss out on with NFL. I'd rather be great on both sides, on both lines of scrimmage, good defense and a good running game, and decent receivers. I don't need my receivers. It's like the Bucs, for example. The Bucs have one of the best receiving corps of football, but both defensive and offensive line are trash and no running game. But what good is your receiving corps if you don't have those things in the NFL inside out? The Panthers have always been good inside out, and that fits Cam. And so I think that, and plus, he has an underrated head coach also. Ron Rivera is very underrated.
What you really trying to say is that the Panthers got a quarterback that couldn't hit good receivers if he had them. So what difference does it make? You give him a good tight end, he's right in the middle of the field.
What I'm saying
by the way.
What I'm saying is this. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he needs an Odell Beckham or AB, but even this season, I mean, his starting receivers is like what? DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel.
And he has a Hall of Fame tight end in Greg Olsen, I think. Say this. I think his head coach is very underrated.
Greg from the third floor. Shout out to Greg from the third floor crew.
Yeah,
but again,
I think
look at their. I want you to look at their wide receiver depth chart going into this season, and it's more like Chris Hogan, like Jarius Wright, Rashad Ross. Like this is who he's going out there to play with.
But see, the thing is, what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I was saying it's like, but the thing that I like his team more than mine per se is that because of things that both sides of a lot of scrimmage and the running game and a better defense. And I think those things could mask like an underwhelming, like a no-name wide receiver core, because you can still control the game with your defense, your offensive line, and your running game. Because the weather's gonna get cold.
That's why they're always in contention for the playoffs at least. But they're not going to get over that hump with these dudes out here, man. They don't even have B-level.
They're not going to get over the hump with Cameron Newton out there. You're right.
Because see, the thing is that I always believe.
I'm just saying, there's he has nothing to play with, man. Like he's throwing the ball to like us.
Well, I did win $100 in that Super Bowl. They had a prop bet that with Ted. They did have a prop bet in that Super Bowl with Ted again drop a pass, and I made $100 off that one. That was easy money. I thought like Floyd Mayweather, the easy money, because we don't again was gonna drop.
He been out here trying to win a chip for the last half decade with Ted Ginn. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Fast as I don't know what.
But see, and the thing is, but what I'm saying is that the Panthers were smart enough to say, hey, this guy ain't Tom Brady or Drew Brees precision-wise. We're going to build this team that's like hit you in the mouth, be the most physical team on the field, and that what got them in contention. I think they ran him too much over the years because I don't care how big and strong you are. You taking hits from those grown men for all those years, it's going to wear on you. And
I agree with that.
I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful having conversations too, man. Just like my man Scalvio in the chat room, talks his trash. You gotta keep in mind that he's a Raiders fan as he makes comments. I gotta keep in mind that the Buccaneers are probably your team's rival, right? So
actually, I hate the Falcons more than I hate the Panthers. Actually, I hate the Falcons more than any team in that division, by the way.
Yeah, but
I hate the Falcons.
You still hate the Panthers.
Yeah, I hate them all. I hate them all because you know why? Because I be like, we could beat these guys. But
I keep that in mind as you make your comments. I'm just gonna keep that in mind. That's all.
But here's the thing. But I always believe is that, hey, you got to build the team to your quarterback strength, and that Cam Newton is not going to be Drew Brees or Tom Brady precision-wise. That's no knock on him. That's just how he was made. That's how type of talent he is. So you build that team accordingly, talent-wise. So I'm not going to bring Odell Beckham Jr. in if I got Cam Newton at quarterback.
I hate when people say that. People say he's no Drew Brees or Tom Brady. Nobody is. Like, yo, you talk about two dudes that are arguably, someone say top 5, but at least top 10. Like, nobody is. That's not really a knock.
No, that's not a knock. I'm talking about style. I'm talking about playing style, where it's like, you know,
yeah, but still,
what the type of pass they are.
Say his playing style or his game. I don't think that anybody would say that. But the fact of the matter is, though, I think Cam Newton is one of those guys, in my opinion, who takes unnecessary criticism. And sometimes he probably also gets, like, love he doesn't deserve. He's somewhere. So, fact of the matter is, he's always somewhere in the middle. Some people do overhype him. I get your point. But at the same time, he takes unfair criticism, too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, B. Austin.
He's what?
No, I'm just saying he's overrated. We're not having a conversation based on the X's and O's. Tobias is trying to defend his brother, man. Listen, man, Cam Newton.
You're saying he's overrated. Who rates him? Where is he rated at?
The BPs, the Black Protectionists rate him all the time. Very high.
I've never heard nobody rate Cam Newton. Like, no, come on, man. Like, I don't even think he's like, people like the sort of overrated thing too, and I'd be like, overrated where?
Man, the BPs rate him, man, very high. I've heard way overstated value.
You're talking about your echo chamber in the grand scheme of things in sports. Cam Newton is he's not even rated high. If anything, he's overrated by the players. He was voted as the most underrated player by his peers.
They was tripping.
Well, I tell you this. I ain't gonna lie to you though. I remember, like, I took a lot of heat. Here's one for you. My dad's a Cowboys fan, right? He hates Dak Prescott, for example. He's like, he ain't good. They shouldn't pay him. And people be getting on my dad. And I'm like, he's right. And but Dak is in that position where, what the Cowboys gonna do? You know, they're not gonna suck bad enough to get a top quarterback. They're gonna have to pay this guy, and he's completely average. But and that's why, like, with Dak Prescott, I don't believe quarterback like win-loss record should be a quarterback stat. This ain't a baseball pitcher. And so yes, these teams may win, but are you that good? Because mind you, we got a guy who couldn't throw for 200 yards for half the season, go get $30 million because the team had a good record. You know,
mm-hmm.
in a league where you can't even touch a receiver, and he still couldn't get 200 yards for half a season. But yet everybody wants to run off the running backs because they say running backs ain't important. But if it's that easy to find a running back, how come the Tampa Bay Buccaneers couldn't find one for 5 years now? If it's that easy.
Tampa Bay can't find a quarterback either, though. So that's not saying much.
Please. Hey, we got a quarterback. We finally got somebody know how to coach a team, know how to coach a player in a team. Mind you, we had the white privilege coach last time. I can't say that too loud. I'm outside the job. Who failed in college where you win 9 games at Arizona State, you get a statue.
Okay.
This guy.
All right. So for your guy, right? For your guy and your team, it's about the coach. It's not about him. It's about the coaches. Listen, young crab legs. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it. Man,
well, Jimmy, I'll tell you this before I run, man. I'll tell you this before I run. Do I think the guy can improve? Yes.
Coach.
But what I'm saying is that, do I think the guy has been great? Hell no, I don't think he's great. But what I'm saying is that, and I've always said this, many of these young quarterbacks fail because they go to crap organization. Who has really failed in Philly, for example, over the years? Like a young QB who's failed. Kevin Cobb got paid out of the organization and Reed did a good job. You know, Tennessee still found anybody since Steve McNair. Tampa's had struggled finding quarterback. Jacksonville has struggled finding quarterback after Mark Brunell. It seems like the same, even the Jets, the same organization fail because they're a dysfunctional organization. If you have a functional organization, maybe these things will understand building a team. Some of these players may succeed. And I think that's the correlation of why some of these players succeed or fail. Because Tom Brady went to the Bengals or the Raiders, will he be Tom Brady 6 rings? No. He'll probably be a good player.
We don't know that.
But he won't have that structure.
I mean, we don't know that. I mean, those are all speculations. But what I can say is the same excuses you're making for him. Who's Cam Newton? Who's Cam Newton's offensive genius?
Who's Jameis Winston offensive genius over the years? Who's his head? Who's been his head coach?
But again,
I'm saying I'm not saying offensive genius, but what I'm saying is a team. What I'm saying is
you're giving one guy an excuse he's not willing to give the other person. That's all I'm saying.
I never said the guy was great. I never said Jameis Winston was great. I never said he was.
I didn't say you did. I say you did.
But what I'm saying is that who said excuse? Like I said, Cam Newton has a better offensive line, better defensive line, better head coaching, better organization, better defense, and a kicker who can make field goals.
That's why. But that's why they have a better team. I mean, that's why they have a better team.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying.
But I'm talking
talking
about all the trashing you do of Cam Newton personally. You trash him personally, but from a skill set standpoint, like to me, he's far superior to your guy right now.
But what I'm saying,
but
you're missing my point on this. What I say is team.
You're talking, yeah, exactly. So those are two different conversations, though. I'm talking about you trashing one personal, the way you trashed the one guy. Team success is team success. They have had more success because of the things you just said.
Yes, and so what I'm saying is that
when it comes to judging an individual, you don't do it the same way. That's all I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is that if Cam Newton doesn't play great, the Panthers can still win a game. Jameis Winston can play great and the team still lose because they can't stop a nosebleed. That's my thing. And see, with a great team, your quarterback doesn't have to be great every week. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to be great week in and week out if you have a good team around you, because the run game can pick you up if you're down. The defense can pick you up when you're down.
Again,
case in point, Tom.
I'm talking about how you judge the individual. All those
I don't think he's a better passing talent. I don't think Cam Newton's a better passing talent. I don't think he's a better passer
based
talent.
On what?
But what I'm saying is that based on the eye.
Okay, but what I'm saying
now because by the way, both of them is on the same amount of interceptions.
His offensive coordinator for the last 4+ years was Mike Shula. That's your
Who was Tampa's offensive coordinator?
That's my point. My point is, you keep saying that for Tampa, but you're not giving the other guy the same benefit of the doubt for his individual
what I'm saying
play.
Is that,
forget the fact.
But they aren't asking Cam Newton to be Warren Moon back here throwing it 45 times. They doing what fit him, and they carry that to a Super Bowl.
And in
fact, Super Bowl appearance.
I would say your guy has had more weapons.
But what weapons have you missed? What I've been saying. Well, I said it doesn't matter how good your receivers are if you can't run the ball, if you can't stop anybody, and you don't have a good line. What is the point of your weapon?
Again, team success and how those individual quarterbacks play. You're willing to make every excuse under the sun for your guy, but not give the other guy the same excuse.
Who's that made excuse?
In terms of coaching.
Well, I'm saying.
In terms of coaching. In terms of coaching, when I talked about who he's playing with, listen, we can go on this all day long. All I'm saying is, be consistent. It's obvious. Your bias is obvious. So,
how am I biased when I say the man has better coach and a better team around him?
Great one is good.
How are you biased?
How am I biased?
Because you're talking about team success. They're a better team. We both know that.
Yes. And so what I'm saying is that they're a better team. They are a better team. They're a better structured team.
Your guy can't even see. Your guy can't even see. Your guy can't even see. He needs prescription.
Cam Newton can't see. You think it's completion percentage?
I see he has an MVP and a trip to the Super Bowl. But again, you're going to say that's team success.
He got one, but what does that mean?
That's okay. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to take up. I'm not here to take up for the guy. All I'm saying is he gets pooped on a lot of times unnecessarily. That's all I'm saying.
All I see is the media saying this guy will get back the MVP form again. I'm talking about TV. I'm just a regular guy. I never thought he was all that they make him out to be.
I see people poop on him all the time, and like I said,
besides Cowherd, most of the media loves him.
The truth is somewhere in the middle, in terms of who he really is.
Cause see, I say this and I got to run it.
That's a fact.
My thing is that what I'm saying is that if your team is good, it doesn't matter how good your numbers are. Your team is good. What I'm saying is that they built what I say is a good team in the organization. Build the team around what you do well. If you want Cam Newton to throw 50 times a game like he's Phillip Rivers or somebody, you're gonna mess up because that's not him, and that's okay. His team won. They went 6-2 before he got hurt. Hey, that happens. That's good. We beat their ass. We got him hurt. That's cool. But what I'm saying is that most of the time these quarterbacks don't fail because of talent. Some of these guys don't fail because of talent. Everybody ain't Rick Meyer. Some of these guys, they end up being like Josh Rosen, who's in a shitty spot. I'm sorry my language. In a crap spot where you don't have a chance. And I'm saying, like, I pull for this team. I can't name a quarterback they drafted who succeeded. Most of them left and went other places. And I'm a fan of this team. And so what I'm saying is what I'm saying is there's so many variables that go into it. I mean, they could have been drafting the wrong people, but it also could be coaching. It could be a lot of things. It could be timing in terms of where you go and what's in front of you. It could be a lot of things. So basically, you want us to just acknowledge that you have a terrible organization. That's fine. You have a terrible organization. We agree with you. Yeah, what I'm saying is that it's a terrible organization. The
Panthers have a tier 3 QB that happened to have won MVP once.
Anyway, Tobias.
But you guys got to run, man. But you guys take it easy, man.
Absolutely.
Go back on your milk yacht, Jimmy. Go back on your milk yacht, Jimmy. Y'all take it easy.
I know you're not talking. Go back to Kyrie's boat, man. Yo, I think it's Nigel 404. We gotta get him first. He was waiting for a minute. Nigel, what's up, homie?
Yeah, what up, man? Your first take has done a number on a lot of sports fans, man, and it's it is rough.
Yeah, it's ruined the sports broadcast game.
Let me clear up this Cam Newton thing. First of all, Cam Newton's not a tier 3 quarterback. Cam Newton is a really good quarterback. Remember when he came in as a rookie, when they pushed the ball down the field, he did what? He broke the rookie record for passing, touchdowns, and yards per attempt. He was really good at it. Yeah, just let me finish. His first few years as a passer, when they were pushing the ball down the field, Cam was really effective. Now, your completion percentage is not going to be the same because you're not doing all the check down stuff, so you're not going to have those high numbers. Last year, when they decided to turn him into check down guy, his completion percentage went way up, but it was based on dump offs to McCaffrey all over the field. That's what they did last year. So if you want Cam to have high percentage, you just do like all other high percentage guys. You throw those short bubble screens, you throw dump offs to the running back, check down to the tight end. So completion percentage is not the issue. Cam Newton basically makes up for flaws in your offense because of his short yardage running, which extends drives, his ability to push the ball down the field as far as big throws, there's always a threat. And just overall, when you look at that Super Bowl team, you look at his receiving core, and then you look at that offensive line, and it's amazing that team, remember, they were 16-0. And that was all on the back of Cam Newton as far as offensively. Defensively, they were solid. But remember, their 2 tackles who they ended up cutting the next year and getting rid of were horrible. Well, you remember Von Miller coming across the edge all night in the Super Bowl?
Yep.
That's because they didn't have actual tackles. And this thing that where you say, you don't draft good wide receivers for Cam Newton. No, you want good wide receivers anywhere. It's just they've drafted first and second wide receivers who didn't pan out and turn out to be what they thought they would. But their D-line draft picks, their linebacker draft picks, all of those panned out. So that's not like some kind of plan. We're just going to give him sorry wide receiver. No, everybody wants good players. It's just the draft is a crapshoot. And sometimes you spend high draft capital and you don't get what's right. Exactly.
Kelvin Benjamin. Actually, the funny thing is, Kelvin Benjamin, he looked good that first year with Cam. He looked good the first year. He came back. He got hurt. He got hurt. And then he looked good again. And then he came back looking like an offensive tackle. He came back looking like an offensive tackle. But you know what though? Here's the thing though, real quick. Casey Mack just figured it out for me. You know, Tobias calls him all the time and says, "Roll damn Tide." He said the reason he hates Cam Newton is because Cam plays for Carolina, who plays against his Buccaneers, and Cam Newton is also an Auburn Tiger.
Yeah, man. The team.
Now it all makes sense.
Hold on, you want to talk about quality Cam Newton? One of the best. What do we consider?
What do we consider a top-notch completion percentage in today's game?
In today's game,
I don't even think you can have one of these games with these bubble screens.
Talking upper 60s. Yeah.
Upper 60s.
But like I said, hold on before you do this. Think about this.
So you already know where that was going.
No, hold on. What scheme is the person playing with? What are they asked to do? Like right now, Tom Brady has a higher percentage than he used to have a long time ago. Tom Brady was a much better quarterback a long time ago because he could push the ball down the field. He lost a little arm strength and velocity, so they get the ball out quick, short dump offs. So his percentage is higher, but he's not a better quarterback. So scheme determines a lot when you're talking about this. But go ahead.
Scheme definitely depends. And wouldn't you say that offensive coordinators dictate or draft up their scheme around the limitations of the quarterback? So, for example,
to a degree,
we're not gonna put.
But most of them, they run their scheme and they tell you to fit in. There are some who are good enough to do that. The Andy Reids of the world. And to be honest, Tampa Bay had a really good OC last year. Todd Monken, he brought that college scheme to Tampa, and that's why Fitzpatrick and Jameis were throwing for 400 yards, 3+ touchdowns. Now, they threw picks, and Monken is now in Cleveland. He's going to be helping Baker Mayfield. So they did actually have a good OC down there. But when you compare Jameis and Cam, it's just somebody doing the black quarterback thing. Jameis is fighting for his survival as a starter next year. If Jameis flops, he's going to be a clipboard holder after this. So he's fighting for his career as a starter. Cam is an established franchise quarterback. And let me put this top wrong because I need people to think about this. When you talk about Cam Newton, remember he had the same shoulder injury as Andrew Luck. He decided not to get surgery and play through it. So those games where he looked bad, people put that on his reputation, and then people call Luck injury prone. It's the same injury. One of them just tried to play through it, which was probably a bad move long term, and Luck may end up playing longer than him because of that. But we don't think about these things, man. Same thing with Drew Brees last year. Drew Brees had a hurt shoulder, but nobody brought it up. They just looked at it and said, oh, the Saints keep bringing in that other guy all the time, and Drew Brees ain't pushing it down the field. He's throwing it at Michael Thomas now. It ain't because Drew Brees didn't, lost his ability to read coverages. It's just, that shoulder was a factor.
He was injured. Yeah. Here's my eye test. I'm going to stop just shooting at Cam because he's a cross-dresser and really break down what my eye test sees.
Personally, he's a clown. I respect him as a player. Now, if we get into him as a person, Frank Lutz is his advisor, All Lives Matter Cam, like, if we get into who he is as a person, I don't F with that dude at all. But I'm not going to lie to you as a player. It's just like I think Gronk is a right. But hold on, let me add this. I think Gronk is an ignorant, raggedy little frat boy type dude. But you ain't gonna get me to say he ain't the best tight end I ever seen. Like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna lie. Mariano Rivera, red hat wearer. You think I'm gonna say he ain't the best closer I ever seen? You know what I mean?
Good point. You can be objective. I get you, but. Now I'm going to give an objective analysis of the man's game, and I'm going to try and keep it at 90 seconds. Cam Newton is a tremendous athlete, and in my best estimation, he's actually the stereotypical black quarterback. Because of his athletic prowess, two things happen. Number one, he was never pushed to develop certain aspects of his game, and two, he didn't take it upon himself
to develop those aspects of the game. He's got a hand cannon. He's got a rocket of an arm. But his touch is trash. And Cam Newton will miss throws not based on not being able to get the ball there, but based on his mechanics. His mechanics in the pocket are sloppy. He doesn't set his feet oftentimes. He's used to being able to muscle the ball to almost any point on the field. And while that's super impressive because of the strength, it's not good for the touch at a level that he's playing where you have to be exceptional, and the slightest breakdown in your mechanics can lead to off throws. So you combine that with the shoulder injury, and he's off on a lot of his throws where touch is concerned. He never really had touch, but now at this stage of his career, when he's going to have to stop running less, or he's going to have to start running less and relying on being able to move the ball around, that's why we're seeing him at 30 fit into a system where he's checked down Charlie, where he really could be still pushing the ball down the field, but we're not quite sure of that touch on the intermediate throws. I'm not talking about deep throws. I'm not talking about airing it out to Ted Ginn. I'm talking about drop back, slight rollout, throwing 20-yard dig route to the opposite hash. You know what I'm talking about, Nas. Is that a throw that you're confident that Cam can make?
Yeah, not only is that a throw that I'm confident Cam can make, I've seen him do it so many times and hate to see it because I'm down here in Atlanta. But it is what it is. And your point about hold on. I heard you out, and I'm gonna tell you why. What you just said, you could apply to any quarterback and then try to extrapolate and say this is the book on that guy. Somebody's mechanics breaking down from a pocket either being broken early or somebody releasing too early. That's everyday in NFL. Everybody does that. You're gonna have bad plays. You could make up a video of anybody and say, oh, look at where his mechanics are here. Look at where he made this mistake here. Look at where the ball's off here. You could do that with anybody. But to say that consistently, that's the book on him, nah, man. You'd have to watch more tape of him.
He's not
does a good job. Well, hold on, man. You made your point. You know what I mean? Let me throw something bro.
Let him talk. Let him talk, Fiona.
Nah, because he's on your side. Now you want to let him talk. Nah, I'm not cut you off. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I didn't really finish the point I was making. I asked a question in that, but the other thing that I was going to say, because of his strength, his physical strength and prowess, he does hold the ball too long. Ben Roethlisberger holds the ball too long. Similar body type. Cam is a better athlete, but Cam's late on throws because he knows he can be late on throws. You're not going to just throw Cam Newton to the ground. Cam can break tackles at the end. So a lot of times he is late with anticipatory throws because he's used to being late. I'm not even going to say that's a deficiency in his game as much as it's a habit that he developed because he athletically can afford to do it when others can't. So combine the touch with being late with the eyes, I call him a top of the middle tier, bottom of the upper echelon quarterback because there are things that he does that are elite at times, but as a thrower of the football, a purely thrower, I think he's kind of mediocre with things. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nas.
Okay. First,
you don't watch enough film, man.
Once we start labeling the criteria a certain way, we already know what country we're going to at that point. When you say as a thrower, and we talk about Cam as if Cam is Michael Vick with all these highlight runs. Look it up. Cam doesn't have many more runs longer than 12 yards. Most of Cam's running is about short yardage, getting first down. So he's not the typical black quarterback. Cam does not run as much as people think. Most of the time you're talking about 3rd and 3, and he's big enough to where he can dig in there and get it. That's usually what you see as far as Cam running. So, no, Cam's not the typical runner. The touch argument, that's what I was getting to a second ago. You could do that to anybody. I don't think it's true. Matter of fact, his success rate with his receiving core kind of proves that that's not true. As far as him being late sometimes, yeah, I think that's a legit argument about Cam. Sometimes he does hold the ball. Most big quarterbacks are guilty of that because they think they can handle the rush all of the time, and that's kind of why he gets injured and why he's dealing with what he's dealing with.
That.
Now, that part I agree with you. but to say that he's like bottom tier and all that, bottom tier guys and game manager guys don't win MVPs, man. They don't go 16-0 during the NFL season, dude. Like, this is a special talent looking at. And it's only going to be a few more years. Like, it's not going to be a long time, coming as far as Cam, man. But like I said, look at that roster over the years, what he's done with it. Like, that dude is an incredible quarterback.
Naj, that's my point. That's why I always defend him when people try to poop on him, because I'm like, yo, it's context to everything, man. A lot of people don't even watch his games when they want to criticize him because they think that you play quarterback one way, and you don't play quarterback one way. He does what it takes for that team to succeed, and you're right. Mediocre or bottom-tier quarterbacks don't win MVPs. There's no other bottom. What quarterbacks win an MVP as a bottom-tier? What bottom-tier quarterback? It doesn't happen. This dude makes plays. No. He does what it takes for that team to win. And
game managers can't sustain that amount of success, man. Like when did he win the MVP? And like I said, we're always looking at him from the point of what we see now, and we don't remember. This dude walked in the door throwing for 300. Only thing he had to throw to was Steve Smith at the time. He was throwing 300 back to back, walking in the door. When
did he win the MVP now?
No, the MVP was like 5 years after that. I was talking about the rookie season.
Was it 2015?
That's how he walked in the door. Huh?
2015, I think he won. He had 35 touchdowns in 2015.
Yeah. It was a crazy season that, nobody could have predicted just because you looked at the weapons he had. And it was like, nah, there's no way he does that. And this was Dave Gettleman, who overpaid their running backs, so they couldn't fix the O-line. And at a certain point, that fatal flaw in the Super Bowl, it came to show its ugly head when the Broncos just said, well, you can't block us, so we're just going to rush you all night. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And Von Miller beat that tackle all damn night. But, man, y'all don't know, man. Y'all hitting on a lot of stuff. And the book on Cam Newton.
And it's something to be said for the entire league when they have a vote to say you're the most underrated player when your peers feel that way about you. There's something to be said for that. Some athletes would tell you that means more to them than, like, these other votes that, come from the media or what have you. His peers voted him that.
Well, he also has the Shaq factor, which is he's so damn big, looks like a DN, that he doesn't get flags that Brady and other people will get. So sometimes he's able to get hit a little more than other people can. And people are like, well, tell him to stop running. And you're like, man, Cam ran for like 20 yards that game or 30 yards that game. This dude ain't breaking out in the open and rushing on people. It's like every once in a while he'll pick up a little chunk yardage. But Cam is not a runner.
And let's be – because it's something else to that too, right? So Cam Newton, when you talk about players with rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns in the same game, there's another guy that has more than him, but they don't consider him a running quarterback, and that's Steve Young. People don't say Steve Young's a running quarterback. Steve Young will run and pick up first downs. He's a scrambling quarterback, but for some reason, Cam gets labeled as a running quarterback. I wonder why.
Steve Young, running quarterback, didn't watch Steve Young.
Right.
Because I never said that. Steve Young will take off on your ass.
No, but people don't watch Cam Newton. People call him a running quarterback, and he's not a running quarterback. That's my point.
And most of those rushing touchdowns are from 1 yard out because they didn't have an elite running back. This dude's running for 1 yard touchdown, and people say, oh, he had 10 touchdowns last year.
You know what the difference is between Steve Young and Cam Newton and why one gets labeled a running quarterback and the other doesn't? Maybe you guys can tell me, But anyway.
Oh, yeah. That's how the game is played, man. But, yeah, like I said, man, Cam is a polarizing figure just because, for one, he's so damn weird and raggedy off the field. But as a player, yeah, I would say he is underrated, man, because he does a lot for what that team tries to do, man. But, we'll see going forward, man. I'm not scared of Samuel and the other guy, but we'll see, man. Greg Olson's 57 with bad feet. So, I mean, I'm not too scared of what they have.
They're coming into the season with some trash receivers, man.
And if McCaffrey passes the HGH and steroid test, they need to just go ahead and stop doing the test, period. So, it is what it is, man. But y'all boys be good. I wish we could have talked about other stuff. I wanted to get in some of the stuff y'all was talking about, which was good, man. But I'm going to hang back and listen because that Cam thing, man.
This is an amazing call, man. You made great points, man. And I'm glad you called in, man, because they make me seem like a Cam protectionist. But here's the thing: I'm just pointing out what I see. Like I'm not a camp protector.
Look, everything that they said could be applied to Dak Prescott. I'm not the dude out here lying for black quarterbacks who aren't good. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. But the black quarterbacks who aren't going to fair shake, I pick up for him. But yeah, Dak, he struggles with all the things y'all listed.
People hit me with it all the time. You talk about Cam Newton, he ain't no Drew Brees, he ain't no Aaron Rodgers. I said, well, who the hell is? That's
a high bar right there. That's a high bar right there.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
And to back to y'all Odell thing y'all brought up, I think a lot of what y'all said was true about that dude. He's millennial as hell. But ultimately, the disrespect was they decided to keep old, raggedy, terrible Eli and ship him out. When he tried to get Eli ran off the job last year, all that locker room leaks and all the team kind of turning on Eli, yeah, a lot of that was Odell driven. But management made a choice to keep Eli and ship him out. So,
they chose,
I'm sure he's
that's
still
what
pissed
it boiled down to. And by the way, I like that phrase, too. He's millennial as hell. We got to start using that. Yo. Them cats are just millennial as hell. That's a pretty good phrase right there, man.
All right.
Millennial as hell. All right, now, take it easy, homie.
Yep.
All right, peace. Yeah, be awesome. We adding that to the jargon. Some cats are just millennial as hell.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Matt.
Nas, we appreciate you always, man.
Mad millennial for no reason at all, man. But anyway, man, we gotta move on, man. Because at this point, like, we way behind. The great conversations, though, man. Great calls, man. We had a couple other callers on the line. I see a couple of them dropped off. But it's time to talk about what happened while you were on the ground, which is brought to you by Sports the Book. Greatest sports book ever written. You can find it at sportsthebook.com. But, you know, we got to move forward, so we got to talk about what happened this week while you were on the ground. So, B. Austin, your man Adrian Peterson, the original black man, is in deep debt after making nearly $100 million during his NFL career. My man can't pay his bills, man. What do you think about Adrian Peterson and his debt?
Yo, he grew up in a time where there was enough social media around him for him to know better. But then so did Trenton Richardson too. Is he on the Redskins active roster? Is he still on the contract with us?
Uh-huh.
Now that's very, very interesting and very telling. He's still on a roster, and this brings back a couple of things. Remember when he was in Minnesota and he had an option to stay if he just restructured his contract, and he decided to hit the open market, and they were going to give him $16 million. They were paying him $16. They wanted him to drop it to like 12 or 13. And he was like, I'm Adrian Peterson.
So much debt. Even so much debt, that wouldn't even matter. Here's the one thing that no one talks about in regards to the story is the fact that my man got almost I forgot the number. I think he got like 9 kids, something like that. So he out here just, you know, knocking them down and raw dogging them. But, you know, it comes back to doggy.
9 kids.
You know, allegedly, you know, I know people that actually know him. Like, I don't know how many he's claiming, but the word on the street is he got a 9-piece. But anyway, man, I hope you get out of it, dog, because, you know, that is crippling, man. Maxim Dadeshev, and I hope I said his name right, he died Friday night from fight injury. So he's a 28-year-old boxer, man. Hate to hear these stories, man, about a young guy dying in the he died in the ring, but died from injuries due to boxing. So, rest in peace to that gentleman, man. And man, I don't know what to say at that, man. You know, cats know when they go out there, they always say it, and people be like, yeah, whatever. I'm putting my life on the line, and we be like, yeah, whatever. Until something like this happens, and you be like, oh, okay. But rest in power. Here's the story I want to ask you about B. Austin. Your man Jalen Ramsey, right? You know, you tell me. My man came to Jack's camp, right? So he showed up for camp. The people how he showed up. My man showed up in the armored bank truck. Do you think he's sending a message or what?
Yo, he said get it ready, man.
Get my bread ready. Get it ready. Just put it in the truck. I'll take it with me.
Yeah.
Oh, that is hilarious. That is hilarious.
So salute to him for the theatrics. Got us talking about Jags camp, because I don't think if he didn't do that, we wouldn't be talking about Jags camp at all.
No. Man, millennial, or is that just the life of a? Is that just a life of a?
Millennial is hell. That's the new saying, man. Millennial is hell. I'm taking that online and offline. Like, yo, you're millennial as hell. But anyway, salute the notch for that one. But no, you know, Jalen Ramsey. Here's what's funny about Jalen Ramsey, right? So in football, right, there's so many players and so many teams that you don't know a lot of guys. He's made himself one of those guys who's a non-quarterback. So I guess this is all part of it. And I guess you could say that's millennial as hell. It's millennial as hell to make yourself a brand. He's created a brand around himself. So I'll give him that.
Speaking of game film, how much Jalen Ramsey have you been able to watch over the last 2 years? Well, I know a year ago you were boycotting. Even this year.
Yeah, but
have you been able to really?
I have seen, yes.
Okay. Yo, he makes plays. He gets his hands on the football at all costs. And I gained a tremendous amount of respect when he locked up with AB. Now, AB hit him good a couple times. I think scored on him. But my man picked the ball off twice. It weren't like quarterback mistakes. It was like, yo, the ball is here. I'm going to reach over and take it from you because it's mine. Yo, dude is a baller.
It sounds like you gained an appreciation for his game. The question is, how much do the Jags appreciate it? Because that's what he's been focused on right now, pulling up in that truck.
He's on that. See if they on that stupid stuff. If they on that stupid stuff,
you tell me. But he definitely has made himself. You know, he's worked on his brand. He's worked on his brand to the point where people know who he is. And again, like that's difficult as a non-quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Johnny Bones Jones, he was charged with battery for putting a waitress in a chokehold. Athletically speaking, for someone who watches MMA and all combat sports, he's one of the most talented guys I've ever seen. We're talking about not saying he doesn't work hard. Naturally, he's talented, athletic as hell.
No,
but my man, can't get his own way.
I quit, yo, because I've been telling people how great he is and how talented he is for about 5 years. Yo, he can't stop shooting himself in the dingus, yo. I quit, man.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing positive to say. I'm just not going to say anything at all because he is every bit the talent you say and maybe more. But my man would take a gun and put it in his mouth and pull the trigger. Like, yo, I can't with dude. I can't.
Yeah, so
I can't.
I mean, you know, my man is like he can go down as the absolute greatest MMA fighter of all time, but my man is like he's always in his own way, man. That's what you call can't get right. You dig? But anyway, man, before we move on and talk about some more NBA rap, man, let's give some quick birthday shout-outs real quick. Yay! And these birthdays are brought to you by all the IG models that B. Austin follows. Kenny Thomas turns 42. Happy birthday to Kenny Thomas. Remember Tracy Murray? Tracy Murray turns 48. Yo, we old. Tracy Murray's 48. Billy Wagner,
somebody in the NBA scored 51 points.
One basketball's first family, John Barry turns 50. I don't know why I called him basketball's first family. I'm tripping with that one. At this point, Barry. But Rick Barry, John Barry, Brent Barry. I mean, you know.
How is John Barry?
Who's basketball's first family? Who's the first family of basketball? Which family is more involved in basketball? Huh?
The Beige brothers, the Currys, Stir It Up, Chef.
I mean,
yeah.
Pop's still getting a check, and isn't somebody isn't like no, that's not him. That's no, isn't the Pop's still getting a check from the Hornets? Both brothers is in the league. Do they got a?
And the mom looks like that. Yeah, they got a sister.
I don't know. Is she married to an NBA player? Somebody got a sister married to.
And somebody look that up, man. Or loyal.
Yeah, somebody look that up and let us know, like whether the Curry's got a daughter that's married to an NBA player, something like that. You know what I'm saying?
How is John married 50 years old, though? I just remember when he was in the airspace fouling him and Kobe was hitting shots from like 28 feet away. Like, how's he 50?
Yo, shout out to Tobias. I'm laughing because Tobias just sent a text to with his chick just to prove that he didn't get his chick from a Kyrie boat party, man. Salute to you, Tobias, because if nothing else, you're the great troll and you're a funny dude, man. Because I made the joke about him, going on Kyrie's boat. Everybody know how Kyrie's boat gets down on the Kyrie Irving boat parties. You already know what that's about. But anyway, back to our
Kyrie's hero is
back to our birthday segment. If anybody knows about the Currys having a daughter that's married to an NBA player, somebody got a sister that's married to an NBA player. I don't know who it is. But anyway, Walter Payton, man. Rest in power to Walter Payton. Oh, okay. Shout out to Scott, you in the chat room. They do have a sister. She's married to Damian Lee, who plays on the Warriors. Now we know how he got a job.
Word.
Yo, the nepotism is – I love it, though. I love it, man. Salute to them, man. Anyway, Walter Payton, man. Rest in power to Walter Payton, man. His birthday is past on the 25th. Walter Payton, I think Walter, and I know there's a lot of Barry Sanders fans and all that. Walter Payton is probably the best running back I've ever seen play, bottom line. And I'm not a Bears fan, but the fact of the matter is the way that man played the game of football. Dog, that one highlight he has, man just runs into the pile and just comes out. Like, Walter Payton, oh, man, I want to get it. And he wore kangaroos and all that on y'all dummies.
Walter Payton was very, very, very special. Very special.
Yeah.
Very special. I agree.
So, rest in power to Payton. You know what I'm saying? Another rest in power to Nate Thurman, one of the greatest of all time, who I don't think gets his just due, but rest in power to him, too. So we like to give all those folks, salute on their birthday.
My birthday, yay!
Just to let everybody know before we get into this NBA rap, that you can find everything we do at the hub, as I always say, which is warroomsports.com. That is the hub. We want to get into some NBA rap before we do. I think this is the brother Rob calling back in. You're in the war room. What's going on?
What's up, man? Yo, shout out to y'all, man. Yo, it's your boy Big Rob, a.k.a. Slip and Slide. Yo, it's your boy Big Rob, a.k.a. Mr. Likes. It's your boy Big Rob, a.k.a. If you drop your dime, I'll pick it up, man. How y'all doing, man?
He's doing pretty good.
A.k.a. Astroglide on him, man.
Yo, how's the weather out there in California, bro?
How's the weather? Oh, man, it's not too hot, you know what I'm saying? It's not too – the thing I love about California is it doesn't have that southern humidity, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man. But, I'm from the valley, it gets like 90 degrees, man, but it's all good, you get that ocean flow at the end.
Rob, man, the streets want to know, man. Tobias proved he didn't, but the streets want to know, did you get your women from the Kyrie Irving boat party, man? What's going on?
The Kyrie Irving well, man, no. I'm trying to wait. I was trying to figure out what y'all talking about. Now I remember. Hold up. I love sisters. Wait. I love sisters. Now, I'm not going to lie. My favorite boat is the West Indies banana boat, man. Them plantains, man. Yo.
Okay.
I love me some West Indies. Yo, shout out to all West Indies women, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you talking B. Austin's language now. You talking B. Austin's language. He loves the Caribbean, man. Let's just put it that way. B. Austin loves the Caribbean, man. Not the West Indies per se, but B. Austin's thing is Jamaica, right? Didn't you think B. Austin is Jamaica?
Granddad. I love Africa as well.
Okay, no doubt. Oh yeah, we know you love Africa, man. We already know what that's about. But anyway, man, Rob, what's going on, man? What you want to talk about, man?
Okay. Real quick, because I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna take a couple shots. Okay. First of all, I'm gonna take a shot to Bias because he want to go on Fred Purdue's podcast and do quick slams, but he don't want to hire your boy so he can do a podcast. Man, yo, he was born. He's a Bama dude. He a country dude. You know, I was born in the country. I was born in North Carolina. He live out here in Arizona. I live in California. Come on, man. He is a low key Charles Barkley Republican country dude. Hello? You know, I'm a socialist. I'm a socialist. You know, I holler at dudes like, come on, man. Hit me back. You know what I'm saying? But bro, I really want to talk about basketball real quick. And I want to say two things. One for the Lakers, I just hope – I know the defense is going to get better because I look at Frank Vogel. I was studying his whole system. Defense is going to get better. I just want to know how the offense is going to work out because that's the key thing. And two, can Kobe and Shaq dominate this era? And three, how come Wilt Chamberlain doesn't get enough respect anymore, even though he had astronomical numbers? And as B. Austin's voice, you can play that cue right there, that B. Austin voice. No human being can do that.
Yeah, I mean,
B. Austin.
Man,
Sonny Hill.
That's a legend, Sonny Hill. But here's my point, though, Rob. So to your first point about Shaq and Kobe, I think they could. I mean, we have to think about eras. You know, I don't believe in best players, best this, best that. But I think at the very top, the guys who are at the very top of the profession could play in any era. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I understand people will say, well, Shaq, because the game has changed and no one really plays that way. But I think Shaq, people forget the younger Shaq. When Shaq was athletic, he could roll to the basket. I think Shaq could play in this era. In terms of Wilt Chamberlain, Wilt Chamberneezy, as Shaq would call him, I think it's because time has passed. You can't come to Philly with that, though. Here in Philly, Wilt Chamberlain is one of those guys, man. And, you know, Sonny Hill.
No human being can do that.
Sonny Hill's in the Hall of Fame too, by the way. But the fact of the matter is, time has just passed. People like to poop on the forefathers, and that's in not just basketball. I see it done in football. I see it done in hip hop. I see it done in every all our culture likes to poop on the people that have come before us, right? But you know, even to the point now where you see the Bronxexuals try to do their best job to slander Mike. But what I'm gonna find funny is in the future, people will be slandering Bron to big up whoever that next guy is. That's just what it is, man. That's part of the culture. That's what we do.
When it comes to the game,
it's up to us culture cavemen to keep the history and the legacy alive. Those that respect the history, you gotta respect the history. Some people just don't respect history, man.
When it comes to that, Rob, I'm gonna tell you like this: there are two things that you need in professional sports, especially basketball: athleticism and skill. Shaq may have been one of the top three athletic big to ever walk the earth. He may have been. There's never been a force like, so he would dominate in any era. And then I'm going to go ahead and say this about Kobe. We all know who I feel is the very best basketball player of all time, period, point blank. But Kobe Bryant might get basketball player ever. Just purely skill. We're not talking athleticism. We're not talking skill. And skill trumps almost everything else in the game. Matching that with his competitive nature, his skill level is so high that there is no error that he would if he didn't master basketball court skill-wise. So that being said, who's going to check him? And you can't touch him in this day and age.
Exactly.
Shout out to chat room. Now says Kobe's at the top of her list, and so I mean, I think we all agree Kobe could play in this era. Shout out to Skyview too. He talks about the Grant brothers. Like we can't forget about the Grant brothers. Horace and Harvey played in the league in terms of the first families, and they got nephews and sons scattered all throughout the NBA, which I didn't. You know, we got to.
How y'all going to dominate?
exactly. And I do want to say this, but because I want to ask Beyonce a basketball or a football question, but I do want to say this that when it comes to this argument about the 96 Bulls and the Golden State Warriors, people forget that they were still in the prime, but they were like in their mid to late 30s when they were dominating. Imagine how they were if they played together in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? People forget how good they were. Like I remember when Dennis Rodman was on ESPN. That's the one time that Stephen A. Smith did not really say anything and just hear from a legend because, Dennis Rodman can say anything he wants. But thank you for that point. I do want to say this. Hello?
Yeah, we listen. Man, go ahead. Hurry up, because we gotta get out of here.
Okay. Be awesome. Okay. I'm going to complain about the Eagles. You know what position I'm going to complain about the most, right? No position I'm going to complain about the most. Is the coaching going to get better? Because I'm tired of seeing them getting burnt every game. We have Amari Cooper there. The Redskins I'm not too worried about. The Giants, oh, man, I feel sorry for Saquon Barkley. I hope they don't give him like 400 carries. I hope they just, I hope he fakes an injury or something so he can just stay out, because, it's I feel sorry for him. But can the coaching get better from the DP standpoint? And two, have you seen any improvements from Carson Wentz? Like, what does he do that's good, and what does he need to get better at? Or he's getting better at?
The DBs are definitely a point of concern. We expected Sidney Jones to take strides by now that he hasn't really taken for him. The Green Goblin, hopefully that dude returns to 2017 form as opposed to last year, and he's not just grabby and jumping every double move. And number 41, man, I'm hoping he takes a stride. So I'm worried about corner as well a little bit this year, but I'm not worried about D-line. Carson Wentz has more weapons now than he's ever had before, and I'm going to say if he's able to really get the best out of the offseason and the OTAs, instead of rehabbing this offseason, he's not rehabbing, he's actually working on his game. I think that you're going to see a return to 2017 and even better from a touch standpoint. What I'm waiting to see with him is his touch and the game slow down because he has all the physical tools. As the game slows down and he has more touch and more mental manipulation over defenses, I think he's going to take strides. Man, I'm excited for the season. I got us winning the division. If Zeke isn't at his best and he's somehow out, Dak is going to get exposed, and you're going to be able to roll Amari Cooper. I don't believe in Dak.
All right, man. Rob, we got to roll, though, man.
It's true because the offense. It's true because I kept getting pissed off that the offensive line was not really playing good when they don't play good. Carson Wentz gets hurt, right? And they do play good when the coaches like the behinds on fire. If they can play well, I would say this.
We got roll.
All right, peace, and shout out to all the IG models.
True.
Peace, shout out to all.
Shout out to all the IG models. Yo, my bad. I keep saying now on this mill, so I gotta apologize because I said her name wrong. But nonetheless, man. Listen, man, it's time to talk real quick. We got a couple stories I got to ask you about before we get out of here, man. And this is in our segment about basketball. And for those who are listening for the first time, we always get new listeners. Our basketball NBA rap is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. All I'm going to say about that is you need a custom website, digitalextremetech.com. Get you a custom website. Stop playing yourself. So, but I got to ask you a couple stories real quick for you. Ben Simmons, right? Ben Simmons has been seen in NBA pickup games in the summer. My man is out here confidently shooting jump shots and just bullying people, looking all crazy. Do you put any stock in these summer runs, or is that millennial as hell, where they just get footage for summer runs and make themselves look great. What you think?
Yo, this whole notion, this whole wave of filming summer runs, I want to say it's millennial as hell, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy seeing NBA caliber players playing pickup, get ball. For Ben, I'm not sure what the make. We'll have to see whether it translates into the season when the lights are brightest and he's got to get, Kylie Jenner off his mind. But if he's on all cylinders, I just want to see him be a threat, not even from the 3-point line. Just give me a J. Just give me an 18-footer, 17-footer. So hopefully it's real.
I'll tell you the one thing I noticed in summer runs, and I know we talk about Ben Simmons and he does look crazy, but that young light skinned brother and that played for the ATL, Trae Young, he looks like the next Curry and something. Summer runs, he let that thing fly. So
he be wiggling on cat, all crazy.
Yeah, he be out there cooking. Yeah, he be out there cooking, man. So summer, I ain't gonna lie though. I definitely watch summer runs. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
I'm one of them dudes that tune in. I tune into the summer runs. Can't even lie about that. Last story I want to ask you about before we get out of here, man.
Shout out to
Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan just joined the Spurs staff as an assistant coach. So now the speculation is Pop is like setting up his exit plan and making Timmy the head coach. You think there's any stock in that? And if so, will Timmy become a good coach? Like, can you see Tim Duncan as a head coach?
I can't see Tim Duncan as anything other than an extra tall Aeropostale model. But there could be validity to that. Pop loves Tim like he literally is his blood son. So I could see the nepotism.
Yeah. Tim always struck me as a guy that was going to retire and just disappear and we never see him again in life. My man's been more visible in retirement. He's more visible in retirement than he was when he played, and I don't know how he did that, but but he has been.
Jim,
still trash.
I thought your man Tim was going to go hang out with Bison Dele.
Yo. Shout out to Tim Duncan, man, because I think that he's one of these guys that is kind of being written out of history. No one talks about him outside of Spurs fans.
No, that's because of that last 6 seasons. Because of that last 6 seasons, you be slandering Spurs fans with, because he didn't do shit for 6 years.
I think it's because my man wear size 58 waist cross-color jeans. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yo, my man's an Old Navy model.
His sartorial game is -12. I say that about Timmy. Listen, man, though, this has been an amazing show, man. Shout out to everybody who actually called in, man, because we got a lot of calls. Some we couldn't get to because it's time for us to get out of here. Neil, I'm sorry. Y'all held it down in the chat room. You and Skyview as always. The group chat is popping. Shout out to Tobias for proving he don't hang with Kyrie. Casey Mack with all the actual factuals. You know what I'm saying? Naj calling in with the fire call, proving y'all wrong. Y'all slandering Cam. But
never.
Thank all of y'all for joining for this briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody, man. We appreciate all the support that we have gotten over this last decade, man. We appreciate all of it. Tune in next week, live right here on demand as we catch up on everything happening around the world of sports. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your start of next week. We'll see you right back here next time. Remember, if you're in the Philly area, come check me out this Sunday. I'll be with the Broad Street Line talking mad trash, because that's what we do. I'm right on South Street at the Philly Pod. It's like a whole festival for a podcast out of the Philly area. So I'll be holding it down for the War Room. So come through and check me out. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook. Our blogs, webcasts, and network podcasts. Everything can be found at the hub. That's warroomsports.com. Also, pick up my book, Sports the Book. You can get it at sportsthebook.com or warroomsports.com. But until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we shall see you chumps on top.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Dev, PJ, B. Austin, .Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the box push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Portrait, secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Jack Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jack. I'll be coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.